Hey guys, Derek here from BOM Socks with more BOM-BITES, where we feast upon the words of Christ, one bite at a time. So today I got some cool stories along with the scripture block today. So I want to show you a map right here, right out the gate of far west Missouri. You can kind of see where it is right there. And I mentioned to you last time how Alexander Donovan, who was a great friend to the Saints back then, helped establish Caldwell County and Daviess County. Learned that they were named after two of his friends. So Caldwell and Daviess County. And as you see right there, Caldwell County has far west, Daviess County has Adam-on-Diamond, and so these were places where the saints could be safe. Now, there is a temple site. So let me show you some pictures right here. So here it is right here. It's not a very big temple site, about 80 feet by 110 feet there. You see, it's just the way it is right there. You've got the entrance right there into the temple grounds. Then you've got here cornerstones, the southeast cornerstone. We're going to talk about that one in a moment. It is now covered up. Then you've got the southwest cornerstone, the northwest cornerstone, and the northeast cornerstone. So all around there are cornerstones to this temple. So the question is, how did these get there? Well, let me take you over to section 115 of the Doctrine and Covenants, okay? So 115, this was the section where we talked about arise and shine forth, the name of the church was given. If you look at verses 6 through 9, and it says, and that the gathering together upon the land of Zion and upon her stakes may be for a defense and for a refuge from the storm and from wrath when it shall be poured out without mixture upon the whole earth. Let the city far west be a holy and consecrated land unto me. And it shall be called most holy, for the ground upon which thou standest is holy. Therefore I command you, here it comes, to build a house unto me for the gathering together of my saints, that they may worship me. And let there be a beginning of this work and a foundation and a preparatory work this following summer. So this revelation was given on April the 26th of 1838, okay? So this following summer, the Lord said, I want you to get some stuff going with this temple. And then verse 11 is a very specific commandment. And in 1 year from this day, let them recommence the laying of the foundation of my house. So what needs to happen is there needs to be some kind of dedicatory service where you are getting the foundations of those cornerstones of the far west temple, okay? So 1 year from that day, so April the 26th of 1839, that needs to happen, okay? In fact, you go forward to section 118 of the Doctrine and Covenants, where is the following summer, it's July 8th of 1838. The Lord says in verse 5, let them take leave of my saints, meaning the 12 apostles, on the 26th day of April next, that 1839, on the building spot of my house, saith the Lord. So again, he wants the 12 apostles there, and he wants that dedication to take place. Well, here's what happened. That message got out to the enemies. In fact, there's a crazy story here. So Brother Theodore Turley, who's a good, faithful member of the church, he had previously displayed considerable bravery in affirming his convictions concerning this particular revelation, that the far west temple be started, as the following account describes. So 8 men, Captain Bogart, who was the county judge, Dr. Lafferty, John Whitmer, who had left the church at this point, and 5 others came into the committee's room, okay? i.e. it's the room or the office of the committee on removal of the saints, and presented to Theodore Turley the paper containing this revelation of July 8th of 1838, this section 118, where they're like, look, we know what's supposed to happen. We are aware that you guys are supposed to have a meeting there. So to Joseph Smith, directing the 12 to take their leave of the saints in far west, on the building site of the Lord's house on the 26th of April, to then go to the Isles of the Sea, and then asked him to read it. Turley said, gentlemen, I am well acquainted with it. They said, then you as a rational man will give up Joseph Smith's being a prophet and an inspired man? He and the 12 are now scattered all over creation. A lot were out serving missions at that point. Let them come here if they dare, and if they do, they will be murdered, as that revelation cannot be fulfilled, and you will now give up your faith. So at this point, the saints are very much being persecuted there in Missouri. This is a rough time. And so they're like, look, the 12 shows up that day, they're going to be killed. So Turley jumped up and said, in the name of God, that revelation will be fulfilled. They laughed him to scorn. John Whitmer, who maybe still held some feelings of some kind of feelings for his former brethren, says he hung down his head as if to say, oh, I don't want to see bad things happen to my friends, even though I've left the church. They said, if they, meaning the 12, come, they will get murdered. They dare not come to take their leave here. That is like all the rest of Joe Smith's darn prophecies, although they probably didn't say darn. So here's the crazy thing. So the Lord gives a commandment to lay the foundation of a new temple on a specific day. Your enemies are aware of this day and vow to kill you if you do this. What do you do? Well, let me go forward to section 118. You know the dilemma right now. Let me remind you, at this point, we have lost 5 apostles, 4 of them to apostasy, 1 of them to death. So John F. Boynton, William E. McClellan, Luke and Lyman Johnson, all apostatized. Then you got Captain Fear Not, David W. Patton, who had been killed in the Battle of Crooked River. So they need to be replaced. So verse 5 again, it says, let them take leave. This is just a review. To be able to be at Far West on the 26th day of April next on the building spot of my house. So let my servant John Taylor, so here's your replacements. You've got John E. Page, also my servant John E. Page, also my servant Wilford Woodruff, also my servant Willard Richards, and they also added George A. Smith, which I'll bring him up in just a moment. Be appointed to fill their places of those who have fallen, and be officially notified of their appointment. So can you imagine being called to be apostle? You're like, hey, you're going to be an apostle. Just so you know, there's a chance to be killed because there's a commandment that you are supposed to do. So Wilford Woodruff said this. He says, the general feeling in the church, so far as I know, was that under the circumstances, it was impossible to accomplish the work, and the Lord would accept the will for the deed. But Brigham Young, the Lion of the Lord, he's like, guys, nope, God gives a commandment. We're going to be there. So here we are, April 26, 1839 at 12:01 a.m. This is a cool little picture here. You got all these guys there. The apostles were not to be put off from their commanded duty. So on the night of April 25th, 1839, the little band of apostles with a small company of faithful brethren, high priests, elders, priests, they all arrived at Far West. They'd kind of been hiding out there. Shortly after midnight on the morning of April 26th, they assembled on the temple lot in Far West, and there they held a conference. Brigham Young presided. John Taylor, the clerk, wrote, the council then proceeded to the building spot of the Lord's house, when the following business was transacted. Part of a hymn was sung on the mission of the 12. Elder Alpheus Cutler, a master workman of the house, then recommenced laying the foundation of the Lord's house, agreeable to revelation, by rolling up a large stone near the southeast corner. The following of the 12 were present: Brigham Young, Heber C. Kimball, Orson Pratt, John E. Page, John Taylor, who proceeded to ordain Wilford Woodruff, and George A. Smith to fill the place of those who had fallen. After several of the apostles had offered prayers, the assembly sang Adamondiamon, and the apostles left. It might have meant imprisonment or perhaps cost their lives if they had been seen. Mobbers who had already driven the saints out of Missouri had vowed to prevent this meeting and thus prove Joseph Smith a false prophet. Certain that the Mormons were beaten and cowered, they had not posted a guard. So the prophecy is fulfilled, April 26, 1839. Thus was fulfilled the prophecy there of July 8, 1838, which our enemies had said could not be fulfilled, as no Mormon would be permitted to be in the state. Well, little conclusion here. As the saints were passing by away from the building, Brother Turley, who was there, said to Elders Page and Woodruff, stop a bit while I bid Isaac Russell, a former member who had apostatized, goodbye. And knocking at the door, called Brother Russell. Stunned to see Brother Turley standing in front of him, he asked him to sit down. But Brother Turley replied, I cannot. I shall lose my company. Well, who is your company? Inquired Russell. The 12. The 12? Yes, don't you know that this is the 26th, the day that the 12 were to take leave of their friends on the foundation of the Lord's house, to go to the Isles of the Sea. The revelation is now fulfilled. I am going with them. Russell was speechless, and Turley bid him farewell. That's just a fancy way of saying, hey, okay, bye. You know, we did what we were supposed to do, and now we're out. So What lessons can we learn from this story? This would be an interesting little discussion here. You can pause the video if you'd like, have a little discussion. I know for me personally, 2 lessons come up to me. 1, let God prevail. He knows what he is doing. Number 2, 1 Nephi 3:7. I will go and do the things which the Lord hath commanded, for I know that the Lord giveth no commandment unto the children of men, save he shall prepare a way for them to accomplish the thing which he commandeth them. And he commanded them to be there at the temple site and start the foundation so they could go out on missions. So I love that story, and I love the principle here. So anyway, hope that story helped you out. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thank you for sharing these messages. We appreciate it. Go check out our amazing gospel theme socks at bombsocks.com. Godspeed, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.